Dr. Garassi, I present Lee Knefelkamp for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Trustees Lorraine McNeil-Popper and Aletta Diamond will assist with placing the hood on the shoulders of Lee Knefelkamp. It would be no exaggeration to say that Dr. Lee Knefelkamp is America's educator par excellence. Lee Knefelkamp has quite literally written the book on what it takes and what it means to be a teacher, an educator, a college professor of the highest order. In both her scholarly work and in her countless public presentations, she has for over 35 years presented and embodied the model for pedagogical excellency. In addition to serving in the Peace Corps, Lee Knefelkamp earned her BA degree from Macalester College, as well as an MA and PhD from the University of Minnesota. She has been a faculty member and program chair of counseling and student development at the University of Maryland. She has served as dean of the School of Education at American University in Washington, D.C. She has also served as academic dean at Macalester College. She is professor emerita at the Teachers College of Columbia University, where she has also chaired the Department of Adult and Higher Education. For 20 years, Lee Knefelkamp has been a senior scholar with the Association of American Colleges and Universities, where she has done pioneering and definitive research in the area of student learning and achievement. She is considered one of the pioneering scholars in the areas of intellectual and ethical development. Educators beyond number have had the opportunity of listening to Dr. Knefelkamp over the decades, and they have always been impressed, indeed amazed, by her ability to take the most sophisticated pedagogical concepts and make them comprehensible and, more importantly, applicable in daily teaching. Dr. Knefelkamp has the ability to always speak from the heart. She speaks not only with the educator, but more importantly, with the student in mind. Beyond that, Dr. Knefelkamp has a wonderful, shall we say, homespun sense of humor, born of the American heartland, cultivated during her early years in Minnesota. It is that combination of intellect, understanding, and humor that enables Dr. Knefelkamp to command the room, be it large or small. It has been said regarding teachers that a student, quote, doesn't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. In the case of Lee Knefelkamp, they certainly know that she cares a lot. And so, because you, Dr. Lee Knefelkamp, embody so perfectly all the virtues that Wagner College holds dear, it is our pleasure to honor you here today.
With the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Wagner College and the laws of the state of New York, I hereby confer upon you, Lee Knefelkamp, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa, and thereby declare that your name forever be inscribed on the roll of Wagner College's most esteemed alumni. Dr. Knefelkamp.
Oh, we short people. Some moments in life are better. Some moments in life are more meaningful than others. And this is certainly one of those moments in my life. As an educator who has spent many professional years working to create more welcoming and effective learning environments for students, an award from Wagner College is a stunning honor. It may not be one I deserve, but it's certainly one I'm going to take home with me on the train tomorrow. And I don't know about you, but I feel such a gift should be reciprocated. You all have honored me today, and next fall, our family will give you our grandson, who will enroll as a first-year theater major at Wagner College. Wagner College was his first choice. What an intelligent and insightful young man he is. But I hope this moment is memorable for you, the graduates, and I'd like to speak to you now, if I may. I hope the moment is memorable, not just for your achievements, but because you are sitting at the center of attention, surrounded by those who are most meaningful to you. Family who have supported you in so many ways, friends who have accompanied you through good times and in bad times, the faculty and the administration and the staff who have worked lovingly and tirelessly to create the best possible learning culture just for you. Please take a moment to applaud yourselves and those people who surround you with love. So as you heard Richard say, I've known him for a very long time, and I know his wife, Dr. Karen, for a very long time. It's a bit daunting. What to say to a Wagner graduate? You're not just talking to any old graduate, you're talking to a Wagner graduate. A number of years ago, your president, Richard Garassi, gave a memorable speech about what Wagner College sought to be. He titled it More Than the View. From the vantage point of the view of the harbor and the city beyond, Richard traced our immigrant and working class history, intertwined with the dream and the promise of education. He refused on that day and every other day the false dichotomy between learning and working, and the Wagner Plan and the practical liberal arts were born. A gift not just to Wagner College, but to American higher education in general. Other scholars have used the metaphor for this kind of wedding of learning and working, the metaphor of architects and stonemasons, to describe that integration. Great cathedrals, as you know, can only be constructed by both. I live in Washington, D.C., and frequently go to the National Cathedral. And one of the great pleasures of going to that cathedral is not only to see its soaring beauty, but to go to the very top of the turrets on a tour and to see the gargoyles carved by the stonemasons that have faces of their children, faces of their grandmothers, faces of their ancestors, and they know that no one will ever see them except the few of us who are on the tour. But they carved out of love and out of artistry that great cathedral. We need soaring and lofty visions, and we need the artistry of constructing things that work. We all have ideals, and your Wagner experience has helped you to form yours. But we have the need to work to make those ideals a practical reality in our lives and in the lives of others. So today I have for each of you 3 Wagnerian wishes. My first wish, that you will claim and create a life of responsibility. Each of you is both the architect and the stonemason of your own life. The poet Adrienne Rich once spoke to a group of college students, in fact, the University of Maryland at College Park, about responsibility. And she suggested that an education has taught you something about the conditions of others, about who you are and about the world around you. And she went on to say, if you have learned something, then you have become responsible for acting on that knowledge in the world. You are responsible, she said, for finding a way, your way, of acting for good in the world. If you're not an orator, don't orate. If you're not a dancer, don't dance. If you're not a scientist, don't be a scientist, but find a way, your way, for acting on your responsibilities in the world. The great Jewish philosopher Abraham Heschel adds to that, morally speaking, there is no limit to the concern one must feel for the suffering of human beings. That indifference to evil is worse than evil itself. That in a free society, only some are guilty of evil, but all are responsible for correcting it. I want you to know that every deed counts, that every word you utter is power, and above all, Heschel says that you need to build your life as if it were a work of art. So my first wish is I wish for each of you that the cathedral you build of your own life will be one of justice and care. The second wish, that you will live a life of wonder and amazement. I ask with you today what Mary Oliver asks in a central major poem that she has written. Tell me, she asks, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? She even gave us, in another poem, instructions for living a life. Pay attention, she said, be astonished, and then tell about it, and then do something about it. I hope you take joy in your friends and family. I hope you take joy in your work. I hope you take joy in the sunrise and the sunset. Heschel wrote, our goal should be to live a life of radical amazement. Isn't that an amazing term? To live a life of radical amazement. Take nothing for granted, Heschel said. Never treat life casually. So I wish you today the capacities of wonder and amazement and the ability to feel joy. My third wish is that you will live a life that is both useful and rewarding. Poet Marge Piercy, in her poem To Be of Use, recognizes that the work of the world is, she calls it, common as mud, and that we must work in a common rhythm to harvest the fields, feed those in need, and to put the fires of hatred and bigotry out. Your families, Wagner College, the experience of your own precious life have taught all of you to be of use. That is what a practical liberal education is all about. You have developed the intellectual and the interpersonal and the intercultural capacities to be of use in a complex and diverse society, and we need you now as we have need your generation as never before. Katie Cannon, the first African-American graduate of Union Theological Seminary, wrote that it is for each generation to discern the moral situations of its time and to find ways to act on those situations. We need you to do that now, to both discern and to act. We need your commitment and your courage. We need your excellence and your empathy. We need your talent and your tenaciousness. I wish you a rewarding and useful life. Congratulations, and thank you for this honor.